Sup, ladies and gentlemen, Akalon here, and of course, welcome back to each and every one of you. We have some, I would say, incredible news for you today around data mined conversations that is happening, a new scenario that is taking place that, in terms of speculation, just blows things so open. Like, very far back, actually. A lot of these things happened in Legion already, and it feels like it might be coming to fruition now. So I'm going to give you the facts, and then, of course, as always, we gotta speculate, because that's what we do here. Remember, you can support this channel by becoming a YouTube member, a Twitch hub, or a patron. Any and all support is always very much appreciated. Click the link in the description down below. And as always, the deal. If by the end of this video, you think to yourself, you know what, Akalon, kind of like what you had to say, I agree with you, you hit the like button. If not, you hit the dislike button, we move on. If you've already hit the like button like a little degenerate, I love you. Thank you very much for that. Ladies and gentlemen, with that said, let's jump into it, shall we? Alright, so there's some data mined screenshots as well as conversations that is happening specifically around the Primalists. Now, before we get into the data mine, I'm just going to give you a brief rundown of who the Primalists are, and then a lot of the new information that have sort of been revealed about them. So the Primalists are the original dragon kind that came from the elemental planes. They are ruled by 4 archetypes. These 4 were captured and imprisoned, but with everything that's going on and the Dragon Isles being reopened, there is a threat that these 4 rulers of the Primalists may actually be escaping. So these are actually some of the oldest dragons. Now, they all served Galakrond. There's a fight between dragons, or there was a fight between dragons way back in the day when the Titans offered their gifts. One part of dragonkind believed that, yes, okay, this is gifts being bestowed upon us and we should absolutely accept. Another part of dragonkind were like, we are superior, we should grow, we should become who we are, and everyone should worship us. And those were the ones who ultimately became the Primalists. They believe in dragonkind superiority, and they are the purest form of dragon you can get, untouched by Titan magic. Therefore, leaders being imprisoned, that is something that we're probably going to have to be dealing with, and sign me up, I'm quite excited. Their link to Galakrond is very, very interesting, because the story of Galakrond at no point suggests that Galakrond cared about dragonkind superiority. Man just wanted to eat. That really was his story. There's a lot of speculation that goes into the story of Galakrond because we know so very little. One thing that Galakrond's story does reveal is a potential origins of the universe. It kind of suggests that the elements is truly the building blocks of the universe. The elements were made first, and from these elements, everything else was created. Galakrond, obviously, just a normal dragon like every other dragon. So Galakrond one day, maybe because he's hungry or whatever, decides to eat another dragon. Upon eating this dragon, Galakrond realizes, hey, wow, I feel a lot more powerful. I didn't just consume the flesh and the flesh nourished me. I also managed to consume the magic that exists within this other dragon. Now, remember, dragons are completely magical creatures, and he seems to consume this magic. He then starts eating just an incredible amount of dragons, gaining more and more power and obviously growing as a result of this. Due to how he ate this magic, or how he ate these dragons and how he consumed the different elemental forces, Galakrond eventually developed some rather interesting powers. Powers that other dragons didn't have. For example, Galakrond was the first dragon to ever exercise necromancy. Galakrond could raise fallen dragons to almost follow him in a zombified state. So very similar to what Zuval and the Lich King did with the Scourge. Ian himself said that this is the first examples of necromancy ever used on Azeroth. So this suggests to us, at least in a very primitive way, that combining different parts of elemental magic is what creates death, is what creates life, is what creates, well, at least we're extrapolating from the fact that he could mimic death, that this is ultimately how life and death, anyways, not important, we move on. Alright, so the Primalists is, at least in the first raid, one of the main protagonists, and from what I can gather, they're gonna be a protagonist all throughout Dragonflight. So in the first raid, there's this conversation that happens. Corolith states the following: "Insolent worm, the storm consumes all. No, I will not be defeated. Give me your strength, beast." And then Corolith says, "You've accomplished nothing. Once I've dealt with you, nothing will stand between us and the dream. No, I have failed. The dream must be ours." This is huge. The Primalists, at least on the face of it, should have no real interest in the dream. The dream was created by the Titans and by Elune. The dream is the perfect version of Azeroth. The dream is a place for druids and life. It is a connection to Ardenweald. But for Primalists, ones who believe that Dragonkind is the primary force and Dragonkind should rule, the dream doesn't offer anything in the way of bringing that future closer to fruition. The dream wouldn't serve its purpose. For the Nightmare, it is quite obvious why they would want the dream. The Void needs the dream because through the dream they can gain access, unfettered access, to Azeroth. There's no indication that the Primalists wish to kill Azeroth, except if we go back, let's rewind time. We go back to Legion. Malfurion spends some time in the dream cleansing it of the Nightmare. As he cleanses it, he happens upon the Rift of Arm. Now, you remember, if you've been a part of this channel for long enough, we went nuts when we learned about the Rift of Arm. We said, oh my god, this is Ysuraj, he's still there, because of the description that was given about the Rift of Arm. Malfurion felt an incredible darkness, a hungering darkness, a darkness that threatens to consume everything. This darkness was so bad that even Malfurion, one of the most powerful creatures on Azeroth, decided to seal the Rift of Arm rather than deal with whatever the hell lay in the center of the rift. What if that rift is Galakrond? Now, hear me out. According to the canonical lore, when dragons die, their rightful place is inside the dream. There they are reborn to now protect the dream. The move where Elune sends Ysera into Ardenweald seems to be Elune interfering directly with this natural cycle. Dragons are creatures of the dream, so their defense, remember, their very creation was because of the defense of Azeroth. So in the dream, they continue that defense. We have always assumed that this only applied to the dragon aspects because they were the ones that were blessed by the Titans. And also, I just want to throw a quick wrench into the works here and say the Titans blessed the dragons. There's a lot of information surfacing more and more now as we connect more and more of the dots over on Discord. Join the Discord, by the way. It's in the description down below. It just makes this nigh impossible. By the time the dragon aspects would have been crowned dragon aspects, the Titans had already left Azeroth. They were no longer part of Azeroth. In fact, it would have been during the time that they were hunting down Sargeras, most likely being killed by Sargeras at some point in the very near future. So how the Titans managed to bless the dragon aspects remains a mystery to me, but you guys know, thanks to the videos I've made in the last month or so, I do not believe that it was the Titans that blessed the dragon aspects. Anyways, I digress. Galakrond may actually be inside the Emerald Dream, inside the Rift of Arm. It fits. Galakrond was a hungering darkness. Galakrond would not stop eating because with everything he ate, he became more and more powerful, and he was ultimately set to eat Azeroth itself. This wasn't just a case of him getting really fat. He was actually gaining size. Everything was adapting due to the incredible amount of power that he was amassing. So Galakrond was a very real threat to not only Azeroth, but most likely to the galaxy. Taking out Galakrond was an incredible feat. It took Tyr to sacrifice his hand in order to distract Galakrond so that they could throw a rock down his throat that he would choke on, and that is ultimately how he died. Because in a pound-for-pound battle, they couldn't win. The Proto-Drakes that would become the dragon aspects and Tyr could not take down Galakrond. If it's true if Galakrond is in fact, and the reason I believe this is, remember Corolith and the other Primalists, they want to bring Galakrond back. That is their entire thing. They worship Galakrond and they want to see his rebirth. So why else would they want the dream? We know about the Rift of Arm. The Rift of Arm have gone unnoticed and unmentioned since it was introduced in Legion, and now we have a thing, that a hungering darkness that consumes everything. The Rift of Arm is described as a hungering darkness that consumes everything, kind of matches up. So they want to get into the dream, most likely in order to resurrect their master. If Galakrond comes back, we are talking about a fight unlike any other. This dragon was incredibly powerful, lying inside the dream for all this time, most likely made him even more powerful. There is a chance that Galakrond comes back and he is a menace. And also, it gives us an opportunity to fight a big-ass dragon, which I think is cool. I like dragon fights, and I really hope that we get a proper dragon fight. Not the whole, Deathwing's back bullshit. I want a dragon fight where you can see the dragon and it is fire and tail swipes and claw swipes and everything. It is just a mess of a fight. And of course, that is the perfect threat for this expansion. It leads into so many other possible storylines. We know that Morozond's return is fated. We know that the way in which Nosdormu turns into Morozond is at the moment of his death. He refuses to accept that he will die. They started their journey as aspects by killing Galakrond. It would be fitting that Morozond starts his journey by killing Galakrond. And of course, with Morozond, the story goes so much deeper, because Morozond is said to be the final one and only aspect, the aspect of the infinite Dragonflight. It is a true threat and it will destroy all of the other timelines. So there's so much to unpack. But let me know in the comment section down below how you feel about Galakrond. Is this something that you're excited for? Or do you kind of go, nah, Akalon, I don't really care for dragons. Obviously, if you don't really care for dragons, Dragonflight probably not the most exciting expansion for you. But anyways, this is my speculation. This is my opinion. I hope this allowed you, your own brain, to sort of start turning and coming up with theories. I love reading your theories in the comment section down below. Remember to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and all that jazz. To all of the supporters of the channel, thank you so much. Twitch subs, YouTube members, and of course, patrons. Without your support, I would not be able to do what I do, so I thank you from the bottom of my heart. Ladies and gentlemen, as always, be kind to each other, be good to each other, and I will see all of you in the next one. Peace out, fam.